You make it smaller, you make it nicer. You make it look like you never wanted anything. And then you sit there with the phone in your hand, staring at a message that should have taken 8 seconds, but has somehow become a tiny referendum on your entire social position. You delete the direct sentence, you put in the soft one, you add the little harmless ending, the one that says, "Please do not think I am difficult. Please do not think I care. Please like me in a way that I can pretend not to need." Awful little ritual. The strange part is not that you want approval. Everyone wants approval. Anyone who says they do not is either lying or has started wearing linen in a frightening way. The strange part is that the moment you start performing for it, the thing you actually wanted begins to move away. Not approval. Approval is easy enough. Approval is the laugh, the fast reply, the little warmth. It says you did the acceptable version of yourself correctly. Respect is colder than that. Respect has this annoying habit of arriving only after you stop chasing it, which is inconvenient because chasing is the whole modern social posture. The phone is almost built for it. It lets you sand yourself down in real time. You can take a thought that was honest, give it a light emotional coating, make it more agreeable, remove the bit with a backbone, and send it out looking casual. Casual, that word has committed crimes. You can feel the performance most clearly in the second draft. The first draft says what you mean. The second draft says what you mean, but dressed as someone less demanding. The third draft is just a small hostage note to being liked. And by the time you send it, you are no longer trying to communicate. You are trying to be received well. That is a different activity. Caesar and Norton, in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, in 2018 at the University of North Carolina, ran 9 studies on a very specific little social disease. People bragging while pretending not to brag. The humble brag. Terrible word, useful crime scene. Across those 9 studies, people who bragged while disguising it lost more liking than people who just bragged. The disguise gave it away. People could smell the wish underneath. And that is the part that should make the phone feel heavier. Because the problem was not the bragging by itself. It was the pretending not to want the effect. The sentence wore a fake mustache and everyone still recognized it. That is what happens in smaller ways too, when you make every message warmer than you feel, lighter than you mean, more flexible than you are. The other person may not name it. They may not sit there doing social psychology on your punctuation, because mercifully most people have lives, but something registers. Need has a smell, not need in the human sense. That is fine, we all need people. I mean the managed need. The need that comes wrapped in a little joke. The need that says, I am not asking for your approval. I am simply arranging every word so you cannot withhold it comfortably. This is the part where a tidy advice video would tell you, be more confident as if confidence is a setting. You locate between Bluetooth and screen brightness. Very helpful, thank you, the internet. But the phone does not expose a lack of confidence. It exposes a trade. You trade a little truth for a little approval, again and again. And the exchange feels cheap because each payment is tiny. You agree to the plan you did not want. You answer when you had already decided not to. You write the apology that is not quite false, but not quite yours either. Nothing dramatic happens. Nobody bursts through the wall holding a clipboard marked self-betrayal. The evening just gets spent, and the phone sits there, warm from your hand, like a small black altar where your cleanest instincts go to be made more polite. The most insulting thing is that it often works. Performing gets approval. That is why it is addictive. If being overly available only produced rejection, we would stop immediately. But it often produces a friendly reply, a smoother exchange, a little social pat on the head. The sentence with the extra softness gets a heart reaction. The unnecessary explanation gets an okay, no worries. The part of you that wants relief says, see, that was worth it. It was not nothing, it was just not respect. Respect is not the same currency. Approval is given to the version of you that successfully performs acceptability. Respect is given to the version of you that can survive not being instantly approved of, which is why it feels so unfair. You think caring less will make people like you less. Sometimes it will, but liking was never the hard thing to get. You can get liking by becoming convenient. Convenient people get used. There, that sounded grander than it deserved. Still true. Willer in the American Sociological Review in 2009 at the University of California, Berkeley, found in 3 studies that people who gave most to the group at real cost to themselves were given the most status, more influence, more cooperation, better treatment. The important part is almost rude in its simplicity. The status came as a reward for giving, not for asking, not for hinting, not for arranging the room. So everyone noticed how generous they were being. You cannot pull respect toward you like a charging cable across a table. People hand it over when they see something that does not seem to be begging them. A cost, a boundary, a real contribution, a refusal to make every interaction about your rating. That is why the person who says less sometimes has more weight. Not because silence is magic. Silence is often just awkward furniture. but because not rushing to repair every possible misunderstanding tells the other person something. It says there is a self in there that is not leased by the minute. And yes, there is a fake version of this too. The staged indifference. The delayed reply performed like a military operation. The message left unread for exactly 43 minutes because someone on a podcast, probably lit from behind, told you mystery creates value. No, that is still performance. It is approval seeking in sunglasses. Same needy little animal, different outfit. Real stopping is less theatrical. It is sending the message when it is true before you decorate it into a plea. It is letting one sentence remain slightly firm. It is not adding the extra paragraph that explains why you're still a good person. It is feeling the itch to make yourself more acceptable and not scratching it with your thumb. Last week, I rewrote a normal reply 3 times and then added a useless haha, which is a neat way for a grown adult to become a public relations department for 1 sentence. So this is not a speech from the mountain. It is from the same stupid hill. The deeper trap is that you think people are watching you as closely as you are watching yourself. You feel the tension in your own wording, so you assume they feel it too. You notice the half-second delay after you send the message. You notice whether the reply is shorter than yours. You notice the absence of the emoji you were privately depending on, which is an embarrassing sentence, but here we are. You are holding the phone right now like the verdict might arrive through it. Boothby and Clark in Psychological Science in 2018 at Cornell University found in 5 studies that people often left conversations sure they had done badly while the other person had already decided. They liked them. They were grading themselves after the room had stopped taking the test. The person was not reviewing the transcript with a red pen. They had already moved on with a warmer impression than the anxious person guessed. This matters because a huge amount of approval seeking is not even solving a real social problem. It is solving the imagined audit happening in your own head. The other person already likes you enough. You are still polishing the evidence. That is where the phone becomes cruel. It gives the audit an object, a place to happen. You can reread, you can compare, you can revise the exact tone of a sentence until it no longer sounds like speech, more like a customer service email that has developed feelings. And because there is always one more tiny adjustment available, you mistake adjustment for safety. It is not safety. It is submission with better grammar. There, that is the one line. That sounds like it belongs on a mug for unbearable people. Ignore the mug. Keep the line. The respect slips the moment they can see their opinion has more authority over you than your own spine. That is the ugly center of it. Not because people are cruel. Some are obviously, but that is not the whole thing. It is because human beings constantly quietly test what a person is organized around. If you are organized around being liked, they can feel the shape of that. They may even like you for it. They may enjoy your ease, your quick yes, your careful tone, your willingness to make everything smooth. Smoothness is not always kindness. Sometimes smoothness is just fear moving efficiently. And fear is useful. Fear keeps you from sending the unnecessary cruel sentence. Fear stops you from turning every minor annoyance into a moral announcement. Good, please keep that part. The world does not need more people mistaking bluntness for truth and then calling the damage honesty. That is another little online disease, and it has excellent branding. But there is a difference between not being cruel and not being real. The first is care, the second is performance. The first leaves the other person intact. The second slowly removes you from your own message. You can see the cost in the small events because the big language makes it sound abstract. You say yes, and the quiet hour you were counting on disappears. You answer late, and the night gets cut into nervous pieces. You send the warmer version, and now you have to live as the warmer version because the phone remembers what you auditioned as. Tomorrow's message has to match today's costume. That is how approval becomes a schedule, not a feeling, a schedule. A set of maintenance tasks for the version of you people find easiest. Reply like this. Laugh here, soften there. Do not leave that sentence bare. Do not let the silence look like disagreement. Keep feeding the little machine. The machine is hungry. Naturally, it was built by thumbs. And because the rewards are small and frequent, you can miss the loss. Approval arrives immediately. Respect often arrives later, and sometimes from people who never announce it. Nobody sends a message saying, I noticed you did not over-explain yourself. And as a result, my long-term regard for you has increased. If someone did, you should probably block them. Respect is quieter than approval. That is why approval wins so many evenings. The phone gives you the loud thing, the ping, the fast reassurance, the visible proof that you are still acceptable. Respect does not ping. It changes how people treat your no. It changes whether your yes means anything. It changes whether your words have weight the next time they appear on that little screen. And the first time you stop performing, it may feel like you are losing. The message looks too short. The boundary looks rude. The honest sentence looks naked, like it has left the house without a jacket. You will want to add one more softener. One more friendly cushion. One more little emotional biscuit for the other person to chew on. Leave the clean sentence alone and send it before it starts begging. That is not a life system. Please do not make it one. Do not buy a notebook for it. The notebook people are already circling. It is just one place where the performance can be interrupted, before it becomes your personality. After that, the uncomfortable part remains. Some people did prefer the performed version. Of course they did, it was easier for them. It agreed faster, it explained more, it asked for less. When that version becomes less available, a few arrangements get awkward. A few replies cool, a few invitations stop depending on your automatic yes. Good, not pleasant, good. Because the approval you lose there was attached to your usefulness as a shapeshifter. And that is a very tiring way to be liked. You become a person constantly checking the phone not for connection, but for instructions. Be warmer, be smaller, be fine. Be fine again, but with punctuation. Respect begins in the tiny refusal to keep auditioning after the relationship has already begun. Not a dramatic refusal, no speech. No grand declaration of self-worth delivered into the glowing rectangle like a courtroom monologue. Just the moment you notice the extra sentence forming, the one that only exists to make them approve of you, and you do not send it. The phone stays in your hand. The need does not get to type.